Sarah Dowie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I rise in opposition to this bill, but as my colleagues have done, I won't move any further without acknowledging the intention behind this bill. It's extremely admirable that the member has brought this to the floor in response to a tragedy which should not have happened, and that, of course, is the Pike River tragedy, almost coming up to the anniversary shortly, where 29 men on the West Coast lost their lives. And I can certainly speak from someone that comes from a tight-knit community that when a tragedy such as that occurs, everybody would have known one of those, if not many of those men, and my sympathies with those families and that community where such a huge, significant tragedy has occurred, one that should never have happened. But now we need to move forward and certainly learn from it. But as my other colleagues have mentioned, time has moved on and events have superseded this bill. And following on from Pike, of course, there was the Royal Commission into the tragedy, and there were 16 recommendations from that report. And it should be noted that the government has adopted those recommendations, and one of those, of course, is to reform our law with respect to health and safety, acknowledging that New Zealanders, as a culture, require a step change in health and safety, a step change in how we view it, a step change in how we deal with health and safety in the workplace. And that is certainly something that the Transport and Industrial Relations Select Committee has been looking at over the past months. And I just want to pick up on a point by the member opposite, Mr. Lees-Galloway, suggesting that this side of the House is deliberately slowing down the bill. Well, yes, we are, because we want to get it right. This is the biggest reform in 25 years, and we need to make sure that the law is fit for purpose. We have a new concept coming into play, a PCBU, person conducting business or undertaking, and we must make sure that that is fit for purpose for not only our large, high-risk industries, but also the businesses that are low risk. But in acknowledging that, with respect to Pike, in 2013, new regulations were introduced with respect to mining administration, and what they did was put in place new health and safety management systems, appoint new people to the new safety critical roles, make sure their workers meet new competency requirements, comply with strengthened emergency standards, meet new requirements for emergency preparedness, and meet notification and reporting requirements. So that in itself is a step change, but with this new bill coming into play that will again raise the bar, it means that New Zealanders have to take health and safety seriously and look at it as integral, as part of their business. And as part of that, the government has established WorkSafe New Zealand, and the challenge will lie with them to balance between a carrot and stick, to encourage businesses to look at their safety culture, but also to take a hard line on those operators which are not compliant with health and safety laws and that are not putting their people first with respect to health and safety. I just want to touch on some of the stats. Obviously, it's part of the government's program to reduce deaths and injuries at work by 20% in 2020. And if we look across some of those high-risk sectors, we definitely need a reduction, such as in the rural ag sector, 20 deaths last year. So this is timely. I'm not apologetic for slowing it down. We need to take a look at it. We need to take this law reform seriously. It's the biggest law reform in health and safety in 25 years. But with respect to this bill, events have superseded it, and despite the intention, we oppose the first reading.